Good morning, Gayleen.
Hello, hello. This is so nice. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How is Calgary and how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Yes, I am on the last day of my vacation here in Calgary, and then I fly home tomorrow and have to get myself back into the game. You know how that is. So, or you're about to find out how that is when you get to go on your vacation, which is coming up really soon, I understand. So that's exciting. So tell me, Saher, I am really looking forward to meeting you in person. And I know you've got quite a busy summer, I can imagine, ahead of you as well. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about what's transpiring between now and when we will see you on campus and the fall, because you've got quite a lot of transition activities, which happens, doesn't it, when you make a switch from institution to institution?
Yes. Right now, as most of you may know, I'm working as the Chief Administrative Officer at the University of Toronto Mississauga campus, and I will join McMaster officially on July 21st. And then in August, we had this pre-planned vacation. We, as family, my two kids, my husband of 22 years, we love to travel a lot. And we unfortunately had been chasing COVID in early part of 2020. We left Italy in January and COVID hit soon after. And then we went to India in March and we left by the last flight that left the city.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I mean, we love traveling, but we haven't left the house or the city since then. So we had a family occasion and event, and so we thought we'd do an extended family travel. So my brother-in-law, his little boy, his wife, and my mother-in-law are coming along with us. We're heading to your hometown in Calgary. And from there, we go to Banff and then Jasper, and then drive to Vancouver. And then we come back in different groups. Mansoor and I, my husband and I, we would come back on the 29th. Because both of us joined back work on 30th, the kids would show my mother-in-law Whistler because we've been there before. My mother-in-law hasn't, and kids are now old enough. My older one is 16, the younger one is 12. So they can show grandma Whistler, and then they come back 2 days later. My brother-in-law has some in-laws there, so he will stay behind and he'll come on the 3rd. So again, very much looking forward to. Have been to most of Canada, but not that part. So I'll also look forward to more things about that area for you, because and that's your home country there.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, well, as you know, this is exactly where I'm sitting as we're doing this recording, is in Calgary. And I have to say, it's I do get out here relatively frequently. My brother lives here, but the weather has been unbelievable this summer. In fact, it's been quite dry prior to my arrival. Very, very, we all have heard about the heat dome that was roaming across Canada on the western side. And so that hit here the week before I came. So once I've arrived, it's actually got to fairly livable temperatures. And remember, most places or most homes anyway in Calgary do not have air conditioning. So for some people, the heat dome or that really hot weather was quite uncomfortable. But it's been actually really lovely since I got here, and we have had some rain, but the rain has come mostly in the evenings. It's been really great. And we've also been able to sit outside, which is not a normal Calgary evening experience. But the last few nights I've been sitting out with friends and my brother for the evening to have dinners outside, which has just been so beautiful. Makes you feel like you're really having summer when you eat outside. I don't know what you think, but that's my feeling. If I can eat outside, must be summer.
Nice. No, I grew up in India, and we didn't have ACs either. Now ACs are common now, but when we were growing up, they weren't. But those houses are built for summer weather, and eating outside was very common. Yeah, once I came to Canada, well, that's a weird thing. And again, if you're barbecuing, you're eating outside. Even in summers, you tend to just stay inside, eat, and then go out.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, that's so Canada, up and down weather all over the place. So you never know what you're going to get. But I like to say to people, you can't plan for weather, so you just plan. And then whatever happens around you, figure it out.
No, when my mother comes here, she's so used to the warm weather, and she would not carry a jacket or anything with her. And then I'll say, But she said, it's so warm out there. I said, just wait for a few hours and it'll change. There they used to really define seasons. So once a season starts, it starts, and then it has a defined ending. Anyhow, the world's changing, climate everywhere is changing. So hopefully we're able to control some of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll do a little email list of fun things that we've been doing. I've done a few hikes, and I did the Legacy Canmore to Banff and back again bike ride. And today we're going to go and do another bike ride on the 1A. It's been closed and you can bike into Johnson Canyon, which is kind of fun. So yeah, so I'll get an opportunity, but I'll let you know how all of that goes. There's lots of places you can rent bikes and do that. And it is actually so beautiful. I mean, it really is amazing to be out in the mountains and to be cycling along, looking around and thinking, wow, I'm doing this. And it's not that hilly, I promise. So
I love walking, so I will be biking, and my kids and my husband would be riding the bike for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Well, you deserve a vacation. And, it's interesting. I came to McMaster 4 years ago in August, and it's one of those interesting transitions. I know when you leave one institution to the other, you're trying to wrap things up where you are, and you need to bake in the vacation. So it actually worked out really great that you had that time, because it's nice to just completely wipe the slate clean before you start something new. And so I think it's really great that you've got that vacation transition in there. So I know
David was very gracious to allow me that.
Everybody needs a holiday in the summer. So I'm sure he understood that completely, especially the year that we've all had, Saher. I mean, it's been such an incredible year, right? I'm sure for where you sit with the people you support as well, you've seen that also.
It has been a very difficult year for many, and again, those of us who have connections either in the US or in India, like me, you've seen.
Yes. Oh.
And then again, people confined to their condos, their homes, without being able to meet people. So it's been stressful for whatever reason, and has left nobody untouched.
I think that's true. Yeah. And I was going to mention for you, obviously, with family in India, it's been so hard to see, we're such a small world in so many ways, but people still are where they are. And when people have family in different places, it really is so challenging, because there's a level of awareness and also a sense of helplessness. And I think that's really tough. And it is one of the things we talk about a lot at McMaster. And I know this probably has been something that you're aware of through your introductory meetings and conversations. We very much talk about, the empathy and kindness, and trying to really look out for each other, and remembering that people have very layered existences. We know everybody through a professional lens, and they also have very much a personal, obviously much more a personal side that, and many facets and potentially challenges, as well as wonderful things that are going on in people's lives. We all have a lot happening behind the scenes. So we do need to always be considerate of that. So my heart to you and your family and connections in India. And I'm sure for you've seen your own colleagues and people, as I said, your staff and team at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who've gone through a lot this year as well. What gives you strength, Saher? I mean, what do you do when you're feeling like there's a lot on your plate, personally and professionally at the same time? Do you have certain things that you like to do to give yourself some joy and release a bit of stress?
Yes, indeed. First of all is my family, Gayleen. I have 2 young girls, and my love of life, my husband, was 22 years. We, at the end of the day, we were all sitting at home in 4 different rooms and fighting for the bandwidth, as you can relate. But when leave food on the kitchen table in the morning, it's gone by the time it's your turn. And then I go back. I enjoy cooking. That's a good de-stressor. And kids, again, one is teenager and one is getting there, so that part. But lovely 2 girls and my husband. We get to just go for walks. In the mornings, I try to squeeze in a walk in the morning, especially when the weather is walkable and there's no rain and stuff like that. And again, just connecting with my mother every day. I spend like 2 to 5 minutes talking to her. I've not seen her in 18 months. She was supposed to come in April, but obviously since COVID hit, she's been there. I typically go to India for a couple of weeks every year. Haven't been able to do that, but just staying connected to the family, just talking to people and seeing that people have gone through a lot more than I have. And that kind of gives you that, see how resilient people are. And we could provide some support to our colleagues, our friends, our family members who have gone through so much, Gayleen, and I'm sure you've been touched too. And nobody, as we talked earlier, has been left untouched. So just finding support in the community around you and providing support to the community around you has been one of the biggest surviving strength, or whatever you want to say. Plus seeing some light at the end of the tunnel now. It is looking, again, keeping that positive outlook going. I always tell my kids, in any adversity, just keep the positive thing going. And so I tell them that, and sometimes if I'm feeling a little low, they'll come and remind me, and Mom, you need to be positive. And so that's been really.
That's excellent. And I love that, because you're right. We learn a lot from our kids as well. And they listen. That's the exciting thing, when they come back and tell you the things that you've told them to support them, and they come back and you're like, wow, they actually are listening to me. This is pretty awesome. Do you guys cook as a family? I know you talked about loving to cook, and it is such a great thing when you feel like you can't do anything else. I tend to have that approach as well. At least I can feed you. I mean, that is a good standby approach to comfort. Do the children and your husband, do you guys get in there together, or is this a solo adventure for you?
So we can divide the family in two. My husband and my older one are really handy. And my husband especially is very handy. He's a computer engineer. Growing up in India, you're not supposed to be that handy, but he is very handy. And I am not. But he can do everything else except cooking. And I really don't want him to cook, because it's not worth eating it. But my younger one, my 12-year-old, is the one who is got cooking, and I enjoy cooking. Pre-pandemic, we did a lot of entertaining, Gayleen. Every other week there would be few families, and we love, both of us are gregarious, and we want to bring in family, and I loved cooking. I cooked everything then. I'm not sure, in a year and a half I've forgotten cooking for 4 people just for family. And so yes, no, he cannot cook. He can do everything else. He's a very busy man, but he squeezes in everything except cooking. But my younger one loves baking, cooking, helping out, and then not cleaning after.
Yeah, that is what it is.
To my older one, depending on how the siblings are that day, would clean after if she feels like, or then I'll have to tell her to clean, and then she's like, they're tied too.
It sounds like a pretty normal family.
It is. They love each other. They fight with each other, and again.
That's great, though. That's so nice, and probably a real joy for you to watch them build that relationship together, and you'll have that vacation time together. I remember traveling with my brother, who I'm now, spending a solid week with. He took time off so we can spend time together. It is such a great thing to grow up and have a really great adult relationship with your sibling. And when I remember vacations, though, traveling with my brother, and of course, when we were growing up here, it's back, you're in the back seat of a car. When we were growing up, people didn't fly all over the places like they do now. You sat in the back of a car on long drives around, whether it's around the country or off to family members. And there was very much a real line between my seat and the seat.
Yeah. I remember that my sister and I, we used to fight on little things is we had the same bedroom, and who would turn off the light. So we didn't have bedside lamps. You had to get up, turn off the light, go to the switchboard, and both of us would try to sleep before the other, just so that we don't have to get up and close the light. And now we're so tight. I mean, very, very tight. So yeah, it's just different times of growing up.
Sure,
At the moment you think you haven't grown up yet, and some moment you think you're too old.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's hard those family dynamics come with you in life as well. So we're adults, and then you see certain interactions that remind you that you still, in some ways, are kids at heart, and we all sort of started together, right? With those early relationships with our family. So, Saher, I know, I mean, the work that you're going to be doing at McMaster is really exciting. I mean, there is a lot to be done, and there's a lot that's been done, but we always keep our minds to the future. Is there anything in particular about McMaster that really captured your imagination when you saw this opportunity? I think for those of us who are here, everybody, you know, when you talk to, and I'm sure you have these conversations, when you talk to people and you ask them, what is it you really love about the institution? I think you'll find a lot of people will say very different things, but there is kind of a thread of similarity as well. Culture, obviously, people talk about that. There's a real close culture, but I'm curious when people, because I went through this journey not that long ago myself, I'm curious for you, was there something in particular about Mac that you thought, oh, that's really fascinating? I don't know how well you knew McMaster either before you saw this opportunity. So share a little bit if you're willing to do so. And I appreciate it if you don't mind being candid. I think it would be really exciting to know.
No, I will definitely be in. And as we work together, you'll see I'm a very candid person. It's hard for me to beat around the bush. So I am a very candid and direct person. So when I was approached for this opportunity Friday, sometimes I guess in April, and so I knew McMaster, but I just wanted to know where McMaster is today. And that's where I spend the weekend. I actually live in between UTM and McMaster. I live in Oakville, which is kind of a sweet spot between UTM and McMaster. And so what I saw as I logged in is where McMaster is heading, especially the strategic plan that David is putting together. Diversity, inclusion, sustainability, all those things are passion for me. I've done a lot of work in that field, but not as a work, as a passion. And so McMaster, UFT, we have great universities, higher ed institutions. The work that's being done in these universities is what attracts you there, and where McMaster is today. And the collaborative, I mean, through and through the interview process, I heard the word collaboration. And that's very important to me, Gayleen. We need to love the environment we work in. And the university and the higher ed, or any institution, a corporation you look at, goes through various phases. I mean, if you read Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, it says how even great institutions fell down because they were not managed well in the moment. And the moment that McMaster is going through these days is lovely. I mean, really, I'm lucky and privileged to be a part of McMaster in this moment, because it's something that the world's heading and trying to go there, but not everybody is there. So very much looking forward to working with the people, knowing, I understand initially it'll be virtual, but in short time, I guess we'll get there where we get to see each other face to face. So very much looking forward. And that's what attracted me to put my name in the hat. And as I said, lucky and privileged to be where I am, looking forward to working with each one of you. Everybody that I've met to date, all have been in virtual meetings, have been so welcoming and so receptive. The messages that I've received from both institutions, from UFT and from McMaster, have been lovely, heartwarming, and sometimes made me cry. So I'm really very much looking forward to coming and meeting and seeing and learning from all of you.
Well, I want to say an official congratulations to you, because it is It's so exciting to see people move into the next phase of their career and trajectory. And this is a wonderful opportunity. And we're really fortunate to have you coming to join us. So I want to congratulate you as well. And yes, I think the collaboration piece for McMaster is one of the things that I've really enjoyed about working at McMaster. And you are right. I think sometimes awe-inspiring is the other, maybe the other sentiment I would have about some of the work that happens at McMaster. And there was just an article that I was with somebody earlier this week, and they saw an article about McMaster and some of the COVID research that's still ongoing about the AstraZeneca, and what's happening with those blood clots, and the fact that we have a team that are, looking into that. It just blows your mind to think about what people are doing around us.
Absolutely. And that piece of McMaster, we always knew the stature, the research, the teaching and learning. I actually met somebody yesterday who is a mature student into McMaster's MD program. And what attracted to her to the MD program was the way McMaster teaches. So again, that piece of McMaster, as long as I've known McMaster, has existed and excelled from there. And the work that Karen and her team and everybody's doing is second to none. I mean, it's just but combining the collaboration, the inclusion, the sustainability, the climate change, I'm not sure who would say no to like this.
Yes, and as you know, the portfolio that you have, I always think about it and just like, oh my gosh, it's huge. There's just a lot there. You have an engineering background, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Saher? So I think that's really fascinating as well, because that you bring with you some principles and, your own experiences and professionally and through the your own studies, and this is a very broad portfolio. So I'm curious for you, is there anything in particular that you're quite excited about on that side of things? Because there is that whole infrastructure. How do we keep the institution moving forward and support the mission of the institution, which is, in my own small piece of that, what we always try to keep front of mind.
So first and foremost, I have all of you to help me support. So that's what I bank on, having very intelligent, smart, and loving people around me. And so that's what I'm banking on. But you're absolutely right. My background is in engineering. I'm civil engineering and my master's in building engineering and management from India. And then my MBA is from Show School of Business. And I did that while having kids and stuff like that. But my has did it. So don't want to think about that time, but that's the background that I have. Lucky to learn a little bit more on leadership and change management from the workers themselves, Linda Hill and John Cotter. So that has been, I've had the privilege of coming with that background. And in higher ed, yes, I have spent time, done billions of dollars of construction in Southern and Western Ontario. And so, yes, construction, not the civil engineering that Susan does. I'm not a designer at all. So, but I've been in the construction field, which again, has been as a place, and I know you work for STEM with women. That's an area that we need to promote more girls and women into. Then I currently, my responsibility at University of Toronto, Mississauga is responsibility for finance, IT, facilities, security services. So those are the areas that I've continued to learn. I'm a person who doesn't know everything. I just want to learn everything. So as I come along and join you folks, I'm looking forward to learning and knowing, and as I said, I always love to surround myself with smart people, and I don't have to do that because those smart people are already there.
That's wonderful, and thank you. And those are kind things to say. So Saher, thank you. This has really been a treat, and I'm very honored again that you took the time with me today in your very busy schedule. And I'm very much looking forward to meeting you.
And likewise, thank you for your time and spending time off your vacation to talk to me. So all the best for the event, and we'll see you soon.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.